Hi there. Sega recently released a new trailer for Stranger Than Heaven, and it is perfection. This thing is so beautifully crafted thanks in no small part to its eponymous soundtrack. And while a lot of folks are waiting for Sega to release this song on its own, free of dialogue and sound effects, I think the way this thing sings within the trailer's audio-visual context is already as good as it gets. It's perfect. So I thought I'd walk us through it to discuss what makes it so special to my ears and eyes. I'm Patrick Rainville, and this is how you make a damn good music video. The trailer confidently opens with an entire minute of just dialogue between three characters and with minimal ambient sounds or visual distractions. The scene establishes protagonist Makoto Daito's vision of creating a home for misfits and miscreants, a place for people with nowhere else to go. A lush, ascending piano line starts over a shot of the RGG Studio logo, the game's developers. The piano notes fall in this intoxicating, slightly delayed half-step manner, which gives the scale an echoed or doubling illusion. Right after, we move into the song's gorgeous, very catchy chorus, sung by one of its co-composers, Tori Kelly.
I found a place where I'm not alone, so I never get.
Yes, the multi-platinum Grammy Award-winning Tori Kelly. Her voice, like the accompanying piano and string section, are run through some EQ filters to cut most of the low end and to create some distance between the music and the listener. This is paired with cracks, pops, and the hissing of a vinyl record. These softening techniques are pretty common in pop music production, especially in R&B, but it performs double duty in this scene to also help convey that this took place a long time ago. Tori Kelly's lyrics, written from Makoto's perspective, are in direct conversation with his struggle of finding a home. Here, the camera lifts on a distant shot of Japan right as she sings about finding it.
I found a place where I'm not alone.
Our first few shots of Japan are beautiful and wildly colorful, but still quite distant. The camera cuts closer, then closer again, revealing the thorns on the rose's side. We realize the beautiful glowing colors are mostly coming from massively polluting smokestacks on the harbor, a reminder of the corruption at the heart of the glamour. On this close-up shot, we begin to hear Snoop Dogg's unmistakable voice.
That right there?
And before we can second guess it, bam! It cuts to him in the digital flesh. It's an insane, possibly unintentional visual gag, but what's even better is that they play it straight and earnestly.
That's the Japan you've been dreaming about.
While Snoop randomly showing up in a video game is a shockingly not that uncommon occurrence, his inclusion here feels less based on his meme status he's curated over the last decade or so, and instead because of his original talent as a hip-hop music legend. We get our title card reveal in time with Kelly singing it. The voice rings with added reverb.
You know I could take you somewhere.
This is Japan.
Stranger than heaven.
We cut to our first daytime shot as we move to verse 1. The pretty raw, old-school hip-hop beat and the cadence of Kelly's singing gives the song an almost late 90s, early aughts R&B feel, which is an unusual juxtaposition for the game's setting, which takes place across the first 50-60 years of Japan's 20th century. But the mishmash of the two doesn't feel off at all to me. In both cases, we are looking at nostalgic bygone styles and eras with some thematic overlap.
Streets walking on the edge of the night.
For the second half of the verse, it's sung in the same cadence, but now it's in Japanese and by none other than Ado, one of Japan's most popular and enigmatic singers.
Just what are we trying so hard to protect?
Having Tori Kelly and Ado trading lines in English and Japanese functions as a musical extension of Makoto's own self-expression as a bilingual, half-Japanese person, a stranger in his own home country. Makoto has a Japanese father and a white mother, and the discrimination he faces because of this duality appears to be a central theme of the game. We see this conveyed by the adversity he faces during some of the video montage here, but also his height and blue eyes have been a central point of a lot of the game's marketing so far. Following Ado's verse, we introduce a third singer. This is the song's other co-composer, Satoshi Fujihara, of the super hot right now Japanese pop rock band Official Hige Dandism. Dandism? Is it Dandism? I don't think I've actually said that out loud before. Is that how you say it? His voice is just as beautiful as Ado and Tori Kelly's, which is no small feat, but it's also distinct in a few ways. For one, his verse melody is much more plaintive and sorrowful than theirs. From a musicality standpoint, it functions as a pre-chorus leading us back to the chorus we heard at the beginning of the video. But lyrically and emotionally, it shows a more wavering, vulnerable side to Makoto.
歌を食い物にして蒼天堀の帝王なんて呼ばれてそれでできた居場所ってのは俺の欲しかったものなんでしょうか
Upon the reveal of 1960s Shinjuku, along with an explicit confirmation that yes, this game is part of the Yakuza Like a Dragon series, we return to the chorus, this time much fuller, unfiltered. Tori Kelly's voice is doubled with Satoshi Fujihara's, and frankly, this sounds incredible.
What's your story? Just a poem for the Yakuza. Some things never change. Well, よろしくお願いいたします Obsessing over one man's death. That's no way to live a life.
It honestly blows my mind they got Ado and Tori Kelly on the same track. Those two would easily be on many people's shortlists for the best singers in both Japan and North America. So the fact that they got both of them and Satoshi Fujihara, yeah, it's nuts. But it's also just a beautifully written chorus that gets dropped at the perfect time. The way the trailer opens with a more gentle version of it means your brain and ears are more primed for this moment, and for me at least, it hit like a ton of bricks. And speaking of hitting, this beautiful chorus is juxtaposed with the realities of what this life is actually like. We see intimate shots of Yakuza life here, along with our introduction to the game's ultra-violent and graphic combat system.
I know.
God, even by Like a Dragon standards, this looks brutal. Just like the illusion of the beautifully neon glow out at sea revealing itself to be smoggy smokestacks, here too we can see past the glitz and glamour of Makoto's world for what it really is. Following the chorus, we get verse 2, and with it, our fourth and final vocalist. Snoop D-O-double-G lays down some very smooth, relaxed bars, as we are shown an equally slick montage introducing the game's eclectic cast of characters.
Nice to know you're not scared.
What's a man gotta do for a little peace and quiet? Dive through the silence where the memories blurred.
Remember my promise, yeah?
Men come and go with you leave for prayer. A secret ain't buried, but presence in the past. Rumors rise slow, but the truth moves fast.
For me, this part here was the most astounding part of the trailer, realizing that our four singers are actually in-world characters. I mean, we already knew about Snoop thanks to earlier in the trailer, but Tori Kelly, Ado, and Satoshi Fujihara are all key parts of the game's story because of their musical talent. This isn't the last time we're going to hear them sing, and I find the prospect of that very exciting. But it's not just those four either. Both Makoto and his best friend, Yu Shinjo, are voiced by Yu Shirota and Dean Fujioka, respectively, whom are both singers themselves. This is a very musical game indeed, and if you watch the special look video that Sega released at the same time as this trailer, you can see that all these musical elements are not only a narrative conceit, but also fundamental to the game design. Makoto Daito is a showman. Showman? showman, and must recruit musicians, form bands, write songs, and literally capture sounds you hear while exploring Japan that can be used to inspire his songwriting. That is the coolest shit ever. Stranger of Paradise is shaping up to be the biggest budget music game of all time. Well, that and the combat. Yeah, they probably put more money into the combat systems than the music systems, but still, very cool. Let's get back to Snoop. Something that stuck out to me about Snoop's verse, which discusses the ways the past will catch up to you and how nothing stays buried, is that, unlike the verse and pre-chorus of the preceding three singers, this one isn't written in the first person. We're not inside Makoto's head here, but instead from that of an omniscient storyteller's perspective, warning us of our hero's inevitable downfall. I mean, you know the downfall is coming. I mean, we've all played Metal Gear Solid 5. We've played Red Dead Redemption 2. You know, making a place of our own is... You know how it goes. It's interesting, too, that Snoop's omniscient verse happens while the game presents to you its real-world actors. This is another element, this time visual, that isn't part of the game's diegesis. But the inclusion of a rap verse here shouldn't feel too out of place for folks that have been following along with the game's marketing so far. In the very first trailer, from before the game even had a name, the track pivots from a jazz band crooning thing to hip-hop production on the studio name's reveal. And the game's Tokyo Game Show 2025 presentation featured both a traditional live jazz song and a kinda corny, bluesy jazz rap song. Yeah, that. Hip-hop and jazz have been two musical pillars at the core of Stranger Than Heaven's marketing so far. I'll be curious to see if this is just a marketing thing or something we'll be able to hear in the actual game too. Along with the overwhelming majority of music genres born out of the 20th century, hip-hop and jazz are undeniably black music, born out of predominantly black culture. There are lots of possible thematic parallels RGG Studio could draw from here, so I'll be curious to see if and how that'll manifest in the game itself, beyond Snoop's inclusion as a character. Oh, and Snoop's son. Did I mention Snoop's son is in this game? The chorus repeats, same as the last, although the imagery is more uplifting, with the characters doubling down on their conviction of what must be done.
Just make our home, our own country. It's the only choice we have. Our only way forward is to make a place for ourselves. That settles it, Makoto. If this country won't accept us, we'll carve out our own right from underneath it.
This then leads to a new section, the track's bridge. Here, we're repeating the same bass note over and over again, with the vocalists ad-libbing. The violence and camera cuts are timed with the music, which helps make more literal this so-called place of our own is one that will be earned through blood for decades to come. The bluesy honky-tonk piano in the mix feeds into the earthy, stomping anthem feel of this section. Tori Kelly returns with some country twang as the arrogant lyrics double down on Makoto's bloody road ahead. This is intercut with more dramatic action scenes, giving us a taste of the scope of the adventure ahead of us. We match cut to Makoto and you in simpler times as we move to a stripped down arrangement of the chorus.
Come on, join the fun. It's our homecoming after all.
The loss of drums and bass causes a weightlessness-like effect on the listener, and this is paired with the scene of Makoto looking out from up on high. This is a rare optimistic and celebratory scene.
Hey, Japan! Come on, join the fun. It's our homecoming after all.
So long, America! This is my home, and nothing's gonna
gonna change that.
Makoto resolves that this is his home and nothing will change that.
My home, and nothing's gonna change that.
As our very last chorus starts, the scene match cuts to Makoto looking out at different kinds of lights many years later, except he's all alone now. Perhaps a hint at some of the price he's had to pay to get here. This is reinforced with shots of Makoto and Yu throughout the years, through thick and thin, and then shots of the various musicians and gangsters you'll meet across your journey. The trailer ends on one of the coolest sets of match cuts I've ever seen, followed by a dramatic title card.
Stranger than heaven.
God damn. I'm usually the kind of person who goes out of their way not to watch movie and game trailers, but when they are good, they are good. I briefly discussed the merits of trailers as an art form in my long-form video on the music of Bloodborne, and this one here is a great example of that. This one is up there with that MGS5 Phantom Pain trailer cut to Garbage's Not Your Kind of People, or Studio Ghibli's The Wind Rises cut to Yumi Matsutoya's Hikoki Kumo. My two favorite trailers, in case you're keeping track. In both those cases, I found their trailers to be perfect audio-visual encapsulations and distillations of the emotional core of their stories. In a lot of ways, I hold those trailers more dearly than I do the real thing. So I'm very excited for Stranger Than Heaven, the game, and also Stranger Than Heaven, the song, divorced from the trailer, but I don't know if either of those will make a bigger impact on me than this trailer here. Who knows? Hopefully they do. But if not, that's fine as well. I hope the game is good. I hope the various music mechanics for the show business half of the game are good and fleshed out, which, knowing RGG and the unreal effort they put into their minigames, especially their music minigames, yeah, I think we're in good hands. Alright, let's leave it there. If you enjoyed my kind of bigger picture approach to music analysis, you're in luck because there's a lot more of it on my channel, and it's a lot more in depth than this one here. I have videos on the evolution of Persona composer Shoji Meguro, an ongoing series about how Street Fighter music has changed over the centuries. Yes, centuries. 20th century, 21st century, that's 2 centuries. You can call that centuries. I've got a 2-part look at the musical storytelling of Bloodborne, a 4-part series looking at how Final Fantasy XVI uses its leitmotifs across the whole game. Oh, and most important to me is an ongoing series looking at every piece of music in Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, which is easily the biggest and possibly the best soundtrack I've ever heard. I'm 30 plus episodes in, about halfway through the game, and I'm hoping to wrap it up before part 3 comes out. Wish me luck. And of course, none of this would be possible without the fine folks on Patreon. Music analysis work, especially long-form ones like mine, are prime targets for copyright claims and demonetization, so the only way I can justify investing so much time and energy into this channel is because of those folks. Alright, that's it. Thanks for watching. Talk to you soon. Take care. Bye.
Tonight I'm gonna smile again for you. As you lie